The following is a draft poetic transcription from the CRE-STRIDE Kingscliffe gathering on the 21st of July 2022. It captures part of the discussions we were having around social and emotional well-being. So, we started by invoking Dadiri, listening and a feeling, a sense of peace, maybe a feeling of stillness, calm and release, to engage with culture and country in how we all socially, emotionally be, asking what do we understand social and emotional well-being in stride to mean, to be. We talked about listening and listen to those we work with and those we admire, like Didgeon Cairns and Jarvis, who lift our views higher and higher, who role model compassion in care in a whole different way, who remind that a youth focus in research calls out the things we often don't say, who remind us that our communities are mostly young boys and girls, despite coming from the oldest living culture in the world, who bring the intergenerational aspects of research and our legacy to the fore, who show us that our models of care don't really involve walls and doors. In our session we talked of something notoriously hard to say in English words, and for some refers to or means what it is not, in ways deemed clinically absurd. How do we take the clinical story to turn it into something we understand about how we keep well and heal in a colonized land, knowing that the language we use is part of reclaiming that which we can and could, like using Banyara, which means or translates as more than good. Social emotional well-being as a word is tricky. It's more of a journey than a word that calls, making us wonder if we need a stride statement about this at all, and that we need to acknowledge in this what has been lost as well, in the stories of communities we work with that we acknowledge and tell, because we don't really leave our communities wherever we go, and we live and breathe this. That's our reality all the time, you know. So how do we measure this thing, define the immeasurable, that which cannot be said? Is it a commitment or an understanding coming from the heart, not the head? Because once something is written, it's pinned to the page. What do we do with this thing? This sits in the middle of our work, centre stage. Perhaps better captured in an elder's quote, perhaps better spoken in real places than placed written in a note. It takes time to understand social and emotional well-being, and it needs time to be given, and also a space to give how we be as Indigenous and non-Indigenous well here in this place. It's like there's a whole net underneath made of culture and connection that demands critical more than health promotional reflection about the relationality that is so important in what it holds in our shared story of being socially emotionally well in stride as it unfolds. To be truthful, we're focusing on our own well-being in environments that push us in a whole other direction, out of whack and unsafe and deeply divided by our differently held perceptions of who and what we are in our communities of clinical research and care, as we keep reclaiming, coming back to a sense of belonging that always was, will be, and still is there. To end our session also involved the sounds and laughter of a child, a little kid, a reminder that this maybe is what we seek from our work, and maybe all we ever did. Yimbalina Yaranu Undanu, listening for the laughter of children and our youth, which in the end requires a different kind of research outcome, an evidential proof. A proof that's not enough for those that fund varying quality and standards of care, services that are not really good enough for anyone if the facts are laid bare. But here in stride, being socially, emotionally, relationally well is the kind of proof we seek and share, and that we commit to here if we dare.